Central America took the United Provinces of America. Come on, give me more world tension, people. How else am I going to get into this war? Have I thought of doing a Let's Play of Persia or any of the other Middle Eastern countries? I really want to play as the Ottomans at some point. The problem is my criteria for playing a game is that they have to have their own focus tree, which the Ottomans don't at the moment. They took Kurdistan, okay. However, the developers have said that they are working on it for the next update. So then the Ottomans will definitely be an option to play as. And I think that will be really good because they get into a lot of fights early on. And they have a lot of potential to expand, as I found out with Bulgaria, which does have its own focus tree. I mean, there are a couple of nations I want to play as. I want to do the Ottomans. I'd quite like to do something in India. I'd quite like to do another one as Germany. Germany was so much fun. And that's another one that they're apparently redoing the focus tree on. Playing as Canada was fun. Playing the US I would love to do. Again, same problem. They don't have their own focus trees yet. And Brazil was a lot of fun. They also have one. And I'm trying and failing to play as Mongolia. Okay, we have the Rising Sun, which has increased national world tension to 19. We still need some more. That would be 20, 21. Then we would only need another 4% before we can justify. Or we could just start down the land reform and getting more industry. You know what? Screw it. Let's do that. More industry! More better stuff. Japan announces her ambitions, even though the situation in Japan has been critical ever since the Peace of Honor in 1921, the numerous economic crises and riots, as well as the ineffective response to German interventions in China, toppling the autocratic Tanaka regime. The Empire of the Rising Sun managed to bounce back, albeit only as a regional power with limited influence in East Asia. However, the Japanese seem determined to put this weakness to rest, and have announced their ambitions in seizing its place among the great superpowers of the world, by force, if necessary. This ambition conflicts with Germany's sphere of influence in China, though. Which faction is the most complete? Probably the Communists. So, Commune of France, Union of Britain, and Socialist Republic of Italy. Actually, do they have their own? They don't have their own yet. Probably France or Union of Britain. Those two are both pretty well done. And in fact, no, Russia. The Russian focus tree and event chain is mind-blowing. No, let me show you their focus tree. This thing is a work of art. Like, if you think how big the vanilla focus trees are, so we'll go in Germany. This is roughly the size of a vanilla focus tree, right? Roughly. It's a bit bigger. But then you see Russia. And it's big. And it keeps going. And it keeps going. And it keeps going. And, oh, no. And it keeps going. And it keeps going. And it keeps going. Like, the Russian focus tree is just... You can do so much with it that it is really, really impressive. So, massively recommend playing as Russia. It is a really good, fun game. The only thing that's a little bit balked is if you go as the Communists, which, by the way, is an entirely different focus tree. So if you, on the Russian focus tree, go and take Restore the Proletarian Dictatorship, you get a whole new one! A new one! It's ridiculous! But it's a little bit broken. So all the bad things that happen to you as Russia just get wiped. They need to find a way of keeping those negatives with the new Soviet Union. I'm sure they will, but until then I'd recommend just playing with these. So just don't go communist. Though you can, of course. It's just horrifically overpowered because all the negatives, and believe me, there are a lot of negatives, just get ignored. So yes, I hugely recommend playing as Russia. America of New California. Yes, I'm in the UK. I'm not actually English, but I'm in the UK. And yeah, this is the American Civil War. It's it's technically a 5-way civil war. New England already got gobbled up. And Mexico got involved as well. They declared war on the Pacific States. But the Pacific States are doing surprisingly well. Usually they just get annihilated. Play as the French Republic restoring the Bourbon monarchy. Yes, you can do that, and let me talk about that in just a moment. The revolutionary part of the Kaiserreich faction shows itself in their radical plan of land redistribution. The Kaiserreich leadership believes drawing a plan for national land reform will solve both the agricultural crisis and the rise of syndicalism. And we gain 10% more factories. Huzzah! Right, let's get nationalization policy. And this is where we find out whether that nationalization policy actually stacks with that one, or if they're actually the same thing. For too long, the Zaibatsu and foreign imperialists have raped and exploited our people in favour of their personal profit. Let us take control of the economy and nationalise the industry for the good of all of Japan. Alright then. And we can also modify our government, which we were going to do with... It was either Yokosuka, Naval, Arsenal, or Mitsubishi. Unless we want to do any of these. I mean, I don't think we really need to up our manpower laws yet. We could go for more stability. Not really worth it. I think we're going to go with Yokosuka. Well, it depends. Are we going to get new ships first or new aircraft? Both of them are unlocked in 1940. Well, actually, by 1940, we should probably be able to get both. Or are we going to go for the motorized? When's motorized available? Is that 39? No, it's also a 40. Damn it, why is it all in 40? Yeah, I think we're going to go with the ship. So Yokosuka. I think we probably should research carriers sooner, because they take longer to build as well. Okay, good. Onwards. I'm sure that there are Stellaris mods that have this kind of depth. Like, I know there's a pretty well-rated Star Trek mod, which I've never played as. I really should investigate that one of these days. And that's supposed to be very, very good. But no, I don't think anything is. And actually, the Kaiserreich team have kind of cheated, because this is actually a port from Kaiserreich for Hearts of Iron 2, I want to say. So a lot of the events, I think they've just copied across wholesale. I mean, obviously the mechanics and things have to be different for this. But the events and things, that's all established. Or a lot of it is. Tsardom of Bulgaria declared war on Serbia. Bulgaria is another great nation to play as, by the way. I had a lot of fun playing as Bulgaria. A country was reborn in the Balkans after the Weltkrieg, Greater Bulgaria, the titan of the peninsula, uniting all Bulgarian lands and beyond. This kingdom for all Bulgarians was born with bloodshed and war, though, defeating Serbia, Greece and Romania in the Weltkrieg. And I tend to blitz through the messages, by the way, unless it's something directly linked to Japan, because I've read it 100 times. So if you want to pause the stream and read it through yourselves, then you are more than welcome to do so. Brazil has declared war on the United Communes of Brazil, so this is the Brazilian Civil War, which I can't really see Brazil winning. When I was playing as Brazil, this was Brazil. This was the uprising, but I guess because we suppressed the communes were the rebels. And they just swapped places, basically. Type 11 LMG. Marvellous. We've already got that one. Good. We could get paratroopers, but I don't really see the point. We could... No, we can't. That's still 1938. I don't think we're going to need anti-tank or anti-air, so I'm not going to bother with those. We could start on a naval doctrine or an air doctrine. That is true. These are all 38. We could get more excavation. Or a doctrine. I think we need to go for the doctrines. So we'll go for carrier organization, sortie efficiency, naval... we're not going to be at war with anyone with ships, though. Aircraft could be useful, but not required. You know what? No, we're going to go with excavation, so we don't need to buy in as many resources. I think that's probably the way to do it. And let's have you guys coming down there. You guys are actually fully trained, so you can join that army. And then you guys have appeared. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Train you. And don't train them. Marvellous. Okay. And now we just need to wait for an opportunity to attack something. Oh. Ultra Hill's hosting me. Thank you very much, Ultra Hill. Appreciate it. And right, so now that Feng Tian's gone against us, we're going to have to work out a way of striking in both directions. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab you lot. Oh, and you're suffering out of supply. That's not good. You've been taking a crap load of attrition. How long has that been happening? Bollocks. We're definitely going to be moving the cavalry into the new group. And then I think we're just going to... How many provinces are there that we're going to have to fortify? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we leave 10 units behind, then that should do. So we need another 9, which is half. You guys go into there. You lot are actually going to be based in Korea. That is not Korea. Well, it is, but it's not where I wanted. You lot facing Fengtian with an objective of just racing along and grabbing as much as you possibly can initially. I'm going to assign you all, give you a commander. Will need to be a very good one. Yamashita, yeah, that sounds good. And then we're just going to need someone here to hold the line. So do we have anyone that is defensive orientated? Fujite we want to give to the Marines, because you are a fortress buster, and I think that would be very useful in attacking an urban centre, as most ports often are. Hey, Audrey Hill. Thanks, I appreciate it. Right, so we need some people defending here. Reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is more useful in attacking. What was your ability again? Trickster and Engineer. So you have the same thing. Let's get Ueda, who doesn't actually have any abilities just yet. Or out of supply. I don't think supply shouldn't be such a problem. So no, we're going to put Ueda in charge of that. And then I'm going to start a new theatre with everyone that's not in this army. You can stay. Actually, no, Home Guard won't. You can go up there. And then you guys. So this is going to be China. And this is going to be islands. Just so I have an idea of where you actually are. You two are guarding random islands. And then you are guarding Taiwan and whatever this island is. What island is this? Okinawa. Interesting. Taiwan, okay. And then you are the Home Guard. Because I'm sure that Japan had a dad's army of their own. Marvellous. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of getting other people to play your series, Aldra Hill. And yes, Sweden came up. In fact, you were in that discussion. I remember now. Oh, you're playing as Finland. I missed that. Yeah, I'm trying to take down Japan as my Mongolia game. Oh man, it's not fun. It is not fun. Everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong in that game. South African Federation declared war on the Union of South Africa, so that is the South African Civil War, and we have a technology. It is still 38, so I think we're just going to go ahead and get the radio so we can have that extra reinforce rate. That sounds good to me. Yeah, just got the research. Okay, so you lot have moved into position. You are still spreading out, that's fine. You guys are fortifying this border. Magnificent. And then we have some Marines ready to take Fentiang in a rear action over there. So you guys might get attacked from behind. And in fact, we probably do want some troops there, unless we just have you guys surging across. That's probably a better idea. Let's grab the cavalry into a new unit commanded by Tanaka. And your job is going to be to break through across here with the cavalry. And if I get any tanks by the time we declare war, then I'll add them to you. Really? Well, the problem here is that Fengtian's already flipped, so I've lost Fengtian as Japan. They absorbed the Qing Empire and are now at war with Changqing Tuango. No, sorry, they're allied with Sanqing and are fighting against the National Protection Alliance. It was really bizarre. Like, there was nothing I could do to stop it. It just happened. Very annoying. Anyway, see you, Audrey Hill. Cheers for joining us. So, what are we doing? I don't know. Let's get one of these. I'm going to go with battlefield support because I think that's what we're going to need. Yeah, I assumed it was Mongolia fighting against Japan. I am saying that I, as Japan, have lost the Fengtian Republic in an event. Apparently an event which the Qing Empire or maybe National Protection Alliance fires. But they absorb the Qing Empire and then split away from Japan. They are no longer a puppet. Our popularity is rising. Marvellous. That's going to be even more political power. Excellent. I totally will embrace that. At least until we have 80%, which is going to be even more political power. We get so much, it's ridiculous. And that's with the veteran difficulty penalty. Mental. There we go. 0.5 becomes 0.75, and we are now earning 1.36, while also doing a national focus and also having the 25% penalty. Usually you'd get a baby 6 political power if you're lucky. French Republic declared war on Tuareg Confederation, so that is basically the French Civil War over here. Right, someone did mention playing as France to restore the Bourbon Empire. You can do that. If you're playing as the French Republic down here, they're basically the exiled French from France when it went communist. I believe one of the focuses for them is like restoring the monarchy or something like that. I mean, part of it is certainly, yeah, restore the French Empire or restore the Kingdom of France. You can do either. And then part of that is retaking Paris and retaking France. Return to Paris, there you go. So you can basically reform the Empire of France, then take back France. It's pretty cool. Black Ice mod. Yes, Black Ice mod for Hearts of Iron 3 was fantastic. It was basically the Kaiserreich of Hearts of Iron 3. It was amazing, so I'm hoping they can do as much in that as they did for Hoi 3. The Keihin Workers Group Incident. An underground syndicalist group operating in the Keihin, Tokyo, Yokohama region has been uncovered and arrested. Marvellous. And we have finished the nationalization policy. So, did we get 2 nationalization policies? 1. No, we didn't. Okay, so that policy and that policy, freaking pointless, because I already have the spirits for those. So that's something the developers need to have a look at. Because if you have gone the Coda half action, then the only option available to you is the nationalization policy. You can't get any of the others. And half of this is pointless. Okay, so we can get more civilian factories and more military. Oh, I want the civilian. Since the Meiji Restoration and subsequent westernization, the Zaibatsu has been the heart of economic and industrial activity within Japan. They held great influence over domestic and foreign policy. The Imperial Army has always opposed the Zaibatsu's influence and worked for their liquidization. Now that they have effectively controlled the country, the army can nationalize all major Zaibatsu and destroy their influence. Alright, cool. More factories. Marvellous. And, wow, yeah, you're right, Spain did win. Russia announces her ambitions. While many still view Russia as a failed state, torn apart by revolts, disorder and ineffective rule, and serving as a buffer for Middle Europa, recent events have proven something different. The government of the Russian nation has announced their territorial ambitions. Which way have they gone? You are paternal autocrats under Dmitry III, so they've gone Tsarist. Which could lead to a civil war, I think. And you're guaranteed by Germany. Okay. Not sure how much that's going to be worth. Well, it kind of depends how Germany does. Remember, we have beefed Germany up big time so that they can hopefully actually fight against France and win. Although, judging by their army numbers, they are horrifically outnumbered, bearing in mind that France also gets the Union of Britain, led by Nicholas E. Glace. Serbia took 6 states. Kingdom of... Oh, man. Bulgaria was annexed. Bulgaria! No! Alright, so you guys are still going to still do stuff. Are you trained? You are not quite trained. I will be adding you to this army though. What's... Oh, world tensions are 30. Hold up. Aruga. Justify war goal. Conquer. We want to say that we would really like to have Luao Tung back again because it is clearly part of Japan. Okay. So we need to start getting some more troops into place. Part of the problem was that you are split in half. No, because we're going to race across. So long as we take this port before they do, and I'm going to assume that they've shipped most of their troops down to here to fight against the National Protection Alliance, that should be made easier. And once we control the sea here, which we will, then they won't be able to ship troops across anymore. And this should, I'm hoping, be unguarded. So what I may do is tell you to be reckless and tell you to be reckless. And you need to have a different colour. Because orange is the colour of my garrisons usually, and in fact, speaking of garrisons, that is exactly what I should be doing to you guys. There we go, those are garrison armies. And you. Okay, good. So war will break out fairly soon. World tension is really rising. Oh wow, I increased it by 25%? Just for generating a war goal? Really? Alright, so they are bringing more troops back in, as I unfortunately suspected they would. You are the battle fleet. With this in mind, I'm going to give you a general. Yamato, I think, is going to hold the home guard. Spotting chance, number of ships in first attack, or AA attack. No, I think that Koga is going to command the battle fleet. And the Pacific fleet, no, South Pacific fleet, is the one most likely to get into trouble. So Ozawa is going to be in command because you have the blockade runner, so you have a better... You're more likely to retreat and you are better at doing it. So you will keep some of our ships alive. And then the home fleet is going to be Yamato, of course. And then that leaves the submarines. Do we have a submarine commander? You Wolfpack? No, you're air controller. You're a Wolfpack. Daigo is going to be our submarine guy. Not the best commander, but that's fine. We should also start sticking you guys out. So we're going to say convoy raiding, and we're going to do it around the entire coast of China. We're also going to grab the battle fleet, and we're going to tell you... no, we're going to go search and destroy in the LOC. And East China Sea. And then we're going to have Yamato, search and destroy, Sea of Japan, coast of Japan, and... Oh no. Wait, what? Sea of Japan, East China Sea, coast of Japan, there we go. And that should be all of that being held. Because you can't cross from these into there. Nope, that's fine. However, you can cross from here into here. So you do need to defend all three of these zones. But then you are covered. So that is all of our ships now out of port and being active, ready for duty, which is excellent. You have mastered a lot of troops here, but you're not guarding the southern flank, which is your mistake. You're also low on equipment, which we are not. We built a pretty nice surplus, actually, and we're going to need some experience pretty soon. So how long until this justification is completed? How can we see this? This is ready on the 20th of March, 39. Speaking of the 20th of March, we need to start working on tanks as soon as possible. So I'm going to have this hovering up here over the Chi projects so that I actually remember that. In fact, we're going to be slightly late. Damn it. I have not timed that well. Okay, we have civilian factories available. Awesome. Okay, in that case, I'm going to say Tokai is going to be next. Followed by here. Like so. And we're just going to continue industrializing the hell out of it. I selected the battle fleet instead of Yamato, did I? For what? Oh yes, you're right. Well spotted. Search and destroy, he should be here. And then home fleet should be those three. Well spotted, thank you. Appreciate that. I totally would have screwed up and would have left Japan unguarded. And that really would not have been good. Okay. Shangqing Chango took out 5 states. They got a bunch of equipment. That's annoying because all of their troops are now going to be rushing north to deal with us, which is going to slow our own attack down quite a bit. But we will be opening up another front down there. We just need to make sure we time it right, because we need them to drag as many troops away as possible so that we can start hitting them as early as possible. And they are starting to spread out here. Just don't go down these bits, please. Alright. Oh. I wish I'd noticed the war thingy faster. I'm not sure that we could have, though, with hindsight, because I think that happened when Bulgaria was annexed. And this is one of the things that happens, because the way that treaties in this actually work, Bulgaria is back, but they are probably a puppet. Yeah, they're a puppet of Serbia. So this area is now fairly strong, actually, pretty united. Wait, was Romania part of that? Romania was part of that. They don't like Hungary. So they might well go to war with Hungary. They could probably do a fair amount of damage now. Okay, are we still training stuff? Yeah, you guys were trained ages ago. So let's just go ahead and add you to this. In fact, all of you can just go and stand over here ready to move into Nagasaki. I don't want to have too many of you there, just in case we don't have supply for it. Okay, Chi projects. We definitely want the medium tanks. Tanks are the drivers of modern warfare, and we need to make sure our tanks are the best in the world. By funding the Chi series, we can ensure we remain ahead of the world in medium tank technology. Abso-frickin-lutely. Fortunately, this is the end of December. The government idea Ishiwara Heavy Ideas has been removed because its prerequisites are no longer fulfilled. Oh no! Where was it? I'm not even seeing it. Is this a problem or... Oh, shit, no. That was my medium tank. We nationalised Zaibatsu so we don't get our tank bonuses. This focus tree is shocking. Well, bugger. Huh. So yeah, so not only do we lose 2 national focuses from this tree, it also gets rid of our strongest military focus. Strongest military idea. Awesome. That's really, really shit. Plus it wasted 150 of our political power. I'm less concerned about that. I don't want to use light tanks. I hate them. They're rubbish. I guess we'll just go for the motorized equipment and artillery in that case. Yeah, there's nothing that removes those. Well, bugger. I was looking forward to having amazing tanks, basically becoming the Germany of the East. Armoured Spearhead, plus of course we're going mobile. Well, this is making me start to reconsider. Maybe we do want to take one of the others. It will waste a bit of time, but we're only 4 techs in. I mean... I just don't rate light tanks at all. I think they're rubbish. So that really would be motorized. Makes motorized mechanized cheaper. Motorized mechanized also cheaper, and then artillery. And in that case, what I probably want to do is switch to the mobile infantry rather than blitzkrieg, because we're no longer going to be relying on tanks. Let's do that. Wasting a bit of time, but so it goes. Alright,